My stepmother kept pressuring me to babysit her children and overload me with chores, so I made her look like a psycho. I live with my dad. My mom passed in a bad accident a couple of years ago. My dad met Josie in a grief group or something like that, and they got married last year. Josie has 2 kids and I hate living with them, to be honest. The 8-year-old has like really bad ADHD and is constantly accidentally breaking things, making messes, and has meltdowns over the smallest things. The 6-year-old is quite similar but not quite as bad. They both get into my room and take things or break them. I babysat them once when our parents were dating, and I'd rather jump off a building than ever have to watch them again. Josie offered to pay me when they were dating, but I said no. Now that we all live together, she's been trying to make me deal with them more and more, usually while my dad's not home. My dad thinks I should bond with them more but says I don't have to babysit. Josie keeps trying to pull the just watch them for an hour while I go to the store, or loading me up with chores since I'm not watching the kids. I have chores already, so it's not like I'm doing nothing. I just want some time to myself on the weekend. My dad doesn't see it happen, so he thinks I exaggerate. I have the smaller bedroom in the house we moved into, but when I was putting stuff away, it has a hatch into a side attic. Nobody else knows about it. I've started keeping stuff I don't want anyone else to get into there, and it's big enough that I can spread out a blanket and some pillows and read or work on my laptop in peace. I had the idea just to go in there and avoid Josie when my dad was not home, and it worked. She called for me and came looking for me but couldn't find me. My dad texted me and asked where I was, and I told him in my room and dropped my phone location for him to see. Josie still couldn't find me, but I slipped out before my dad came home and was lying on my bed with a book when he arrived. Josie got mad, asking where I'd been, and I said in my room. When she said I was lying, my dad showed her the location I sent and snuck out. They're arguing because Josie insists I wasn't in the house, and my dad thinks she's lying and taking it out on me because I wouldn't babysit. I do feel a little bad now because I am making Josie look quite nuts, but I also don't want to babysit or spend my entire Saturday doing chores. Am I the a-hole? Update: he thinks she's lying and is wondering if she actually has been punishing me for not watching her kids. I'm going to try and record Josie, but I think I might talk to my coach at school, too, because she's been noticing that I'm losing weight and gassing out too fast at practice and asked if everything is okay the other day. Maybe she can talk to my dad about it since the stress is affecting my training or figure out who to get involved with that my dad would listen to. Update: okay, I talked to my coach, and she had me talk to the guidance counselor, which turned into a big deal. Another lady came in and asked me many questions about my home life and I had to get a physical done. The doctor says I'm way underweight and stressed, but nothing else seems wrong, so I have to sit out of practice for 2 weeks and track my meals for a while to make sure I'm eating enough. People talk to my dad and Josie, too, and Josie is mad and thinks I'm lying to people at school to get them in trouble with DHR. They had a big fight, and everyone was still mad. My dad said that I could spend the weekend with my grandparents for the next 2 weeks to make sure I could rest and no chores for me during the week. He said that Josie isn't allowed to ask me to do anything and she's not supposed to come into my room anymore without his permission. He also said he would get a lock for my door this week, but it was a privilege, and I can't abuse it or it's gone. I have to go see a therapist and some other stuff, too. I haven't told anyone about my spot, but I did tell my dad that I really was home and mostly in my room. I was just trying to avoid Josie that day because she was being unreasonable, and I hid whenever I heard her coming. He said he figured something like that was going on. He said he's going to try and work every other Saturday morning for a while to be around more on the weekends and figure this out. Josie won't talk to me at all.